Today we're checking out some of the best cases available for the Pixel 10 Pro XL. I'll leave a link down below with current pricing and more information on everything covered in today's video. But let's go ahead and get started. I know everybody has their favorites when it comes to some cases, but definitely one of my top favorites is this magnetic shockproof case by Taurus. It has a soft touch material all the way around, but on the sides it's got a nice grippy, almost silicone material. You can see it's kind of frosted there on the back. You can see it's pretty rigid. It doesn't really flex much. It moves just a little bit there on the edges. Has pretty good screen protection all the way around. Kind of nice they include different colors for the buttons as well. I think the buttons have some nice clickiness to them. It has nice protection for the cameras on the back as well. Nice and large opening for the charging port. You can sort of see through the back a little bit there when you get fingerprints, as if you have grease or lotion on your hands. You can see how strong the magnet is on the back. Easily lifts the phone. You can even shake it and it doesn't fall off. So of course, it's going to work with MagSafe and Pixel Snap accessories. Weighs about 38 grams for the case itself, so not too bad. I feel like anything in the 30s is still fairly lightweight. Again, one of my favorite cases for the Pixel 10 Pro XL by Taurus. The Spigen Thin Fit MagFit case comes in 3 different colors: sage green, metal slate, and the one shown here is black. This one does have a soft touch material pretty much all over, but I actually like this texture a little better than silicone cases. Also nice that it has the magnet built in. A little bit softer TPU material around the edges. It moves a little bit there around the buttons, but the rest of the case is a pretty snug fit. Nice screen protection all the way around. I don't know if you can get much larger than this opening for the charging port. Power and volume buttons stick out plenty on this one, and the buttons have some nice clickiness to them. I think Spigen always does a really nice job when it comes to the quality of the buttons. You can see it has a nice lip going around the cameras on the back as well. It seems to work pretty good with wireless charging. It seems a lot weaker as far as how strong the magnet is, considering you can't even lift the phone by the magnet. Only about 36 grams for the case itself, so pretty lightweight. Probably one of my favorites as far as grip and how the case feels in your hand. If you want a case, but you still want to see the back of your phone, I think one of the best clear cases is this one from Casemate. Has a softer TPU material around the edges, harder plastic shell on the back. Everything's clear on the back. Just got a little branding here at the bottom. Of course, it has the magnet built in, plenty of screen protection. Doesn't seem to be too bad as far as fingerprints go. Seems to be good protection for the cameras. Nice and large opening for the charging port. You can see the power and volume buttons are covered by the TPU material. I would call it sort of a medium clickiness to the buttons. Seems to work pretty good. You can see how strong the magnet is there on the back. So obviously it's going to work with MagSafe and Pixel Snap accessories. Actually is one of the lighter cases at only 34 grams. Again, probably one of the best clear cases out there for the Pixel 10 Pro XL. Now if you want something a little more rugged, I think the Unicorn Beetle grip case is a nice option from Subcase. Kind of a frosted back to it, a little bit softer TPU material around the edges. Also has some nice texture along the edge as well. Super rigid, doesn't even flex hardly at all. Definitely a nice looking design in my opinion. Also one of the few that actually cover up the whole camera visor on the back. You can see it has pretty good screen protection. It's a little bit flatter around the edges. Pretty good size opening for the charging port. You can also see how big and chunky the case is on the corners for extra protection as well. I like how they put some texture here on the power button, and it doesn't take much effort when using the buttons. Just really nice quality. The magnet on the back definitely feels a little stronger than some of the others I've tested. And it looks like you could put this at pretty much any angle in portrait and landscape mode. Weighs about 67 grams for the case itself, so it definitely has some more weight to it. If you need a case that's a little more rugged, this is definitely one of the better ones out there, in my opinion. I feel like the Nano Pop case from Spigen has been one of my favorites for quite a while. I believe there's only one color option for the Pro XL, which is Blueberry Navy. Not a bad choice. I kind of like their green color a little better. Pretty nice that they have the magnet built in now. It does have a little bit of flexibility to it. I really like the grip on this one. Just looking at this case, it's actually pretty smooth here on the back, but they're still putting the little dots on the sides, which probably make this one of the grippiest cases. You can see it's sort of flatter around the screen. Seems to have just enough protection there. Power and volume buttons are covered by the TPU material. Actually have some really nice clickiness to the buttons, as usual from Spigen. It almost eliminates all of the camera visor on the back as well. Just a little bit of a lip there. Really nice and large opening for the charging port. You can see there's a couple holes there for a lanyard. The magnet seems to be a lot stronger on this one versus their thin fit case. So it's gonna work with most Pixel Snap and MagSafe accessories. It does weigh a little bit more at 51 grams. Overall, just a nice design, fairly slim TPU case that's got some extra grip from Spigen. Now this clear case by Taurus is probably one of the best looking in my opinion. Could be because there's not really a lot of case to it. You can see it doesn't have anything here on the sides. The whole case is sort of a harder plastic shell. It does flex a little bit, probably because it's so thin. Can't get much easier than this to put the case on. Actually just snaps right onto the phone. It does have screen protection on the top and bottom. It's a little more risky with that much on the side being exposed. I think it's still better than no case though. So of course you don't have to worry about anything getting in the way of the buttons on the side. Probably just large enough opening for the charging port. It has good camera protection on the back. Has a really nice smooth finish to it, but yet still kind of grippy. The magnet could be a little stronger. It seems to work pretty good though. Nice thing is the built-in kickstand works in portrait or landscape mode. Weighs about 37 grams for the case itself, so actually a little heavier than you would think, probably because the kickstand and it's a little thicker plastic. I think if you just want minimum protection, you're probably not going to find too many cases out there that look better than this one from Taurus. The Crave dual guard case comes in a few different colors. The one shown here is called Slate. It's a hybrid case where it has a softer TPU material on the inside, harder plastic shell on the back. Once you put them together, it's actually really nice and rigid. It's a pretty snug fit with this one as well. Probably just enough screen protection, nice and large opening for the charging port. It's got a nice lip going around the camera visor. Eliminates quite a bit of the bump on the back. Kind of nice how they stick the buttons out a little bit further than some of the other cases out there. And they're probably some of the clickiest buttons that I've tested. Actually has a nice, almost rubberized texture to it. One downside is it doesn't have the built-in magnet, but it's still gonna work with wireless charging. It just won't attach to like car mounts and stuff like that. Weighs about 52 grams, so a little bit more weight to it than some of the others. I think if you want a little more protection than just a regular TPU case, this one's a pretty good option by Crave. The Crystal Palace case from Zag is probably one of the more rigid clear cases out there. Doesn't really flex much on the sides at all. It's got a harder plastic shell on the back. Also has some pretty nice texture here on the sides to help give it extra grip. It's got plenty of protection for the cameras on the back. Really nice and thick lip that goes around the screen on the front. It also has an oversized cutout for the charging port, so that's good to see. The magnet's probably strong enough there on the back. Not quite as strong as some of the others, but it should work with Pixel Snap and MagSafe accessories. Probably does a little bit better job as far as fingerprints go. Weighs about 42 grams for the case itself, so you can tell it's a little bit thicker than some of the others out there. Not bad on the weight though. Definitely one of the better clear cases out there for the Pixel 10 Pro XL in my opinion. I think the Liquid Air by Spigen is a pretty nice option. It's definitely a little thicker because it has the magnet built in. You can see it's got just enough screen protection all the way around. Probably just enough for the cameras on the back as well. I also like how they put the texture on the power button, and they add a little bit of texture on the edges to give it more grip as well. I feel like the buttons on here are actually a little bit louder than you would expect. It also has a nice and large opening for the charging port on the bottom. Probably hard to see in the video, but it does have a bunch of little triangles. It has sort of a matte finish to it all over the case. At 43 grams, it does weigh a little bit more than I was expecting. Surprisingly, a stronger magnet than you would think, considering this is a fairly thin case. Again, if you're just wanting a TPU case, I think this one's a pretty good option by Spigen. The Rinky Onyx case. This one's called Magnetic Dark Green. I kind of wish they had some different color options. Definitely has a little bit of rigidness to it, but is mainly just a TPU case. Definitely feels a little thinner on the sides. Actually has some nice texture there on the sides as well. A nice and large opening for the charging port on the bottom. You can sort of feel little bumps on the back. I think it gives it a little extra grip. I also like how they cover up the entire camera visor, so extra protection there. Pretty minimal screen protection. It does have a little bit of extra there on the top and bottom. I feel like the magnet could be just a hair stronger. It's not bad though. It should work fine with MagSafe and Pixel Snap accessories. Only about 40 grams for this one, so actually lighter than the Liquid Air case from Spigen. Overall, just a really nice thin TPU case. I think if I was deciding between this and the Liquid Air case by Spigen, I might actually lean towards this one. There's quite a few cases out there for this phone, so I may have to make a part 2 to this video, but these are some of the best ones that didn't have crazy shipping times. So hopefully this video helped you out in trying to find 1 or 2 cases for your new Pixel 10 Pro XL phone. So if you've made it this far into the video, you may want to say thanks by subscribing, and don't forget to give a thumbs up if this video was helpful. This is Brian from Fishbee Productions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.